Here on the Grumeti River, a ragtag group of crocodiles passes the time at the beach. Sunbathing's got great health benefits. It's good for the blood. Crocodiles don't actually have cold blood. Their blood hovers between 30 to 33 degrees Celsius, but they have to use the external environment to keep it constant. Basking and swimming are essential daily routines. Their peaceful morning is about to end. This is the dominant croc in the group, DC for short. He's bigger, meaner, and faster than all the rest. If DC wants privacy, it's best to obey quickly or suffer a painful reminder of his status. Crocodile hierarchy is not complex. Bigger is better. In this section of river, no one fights in DC's weight class. And yet, DC spends a great deal of time and energy defending his position. It's a preemptive strategy. Get the others out of the way early and reduce the competition for food. Aggression is the only language rivals understand. A brutal life has left its mark on DC. He has an open wound on his nose that flares up after any roughhousing. But DC seems unfazed by the gash, as if it's a token of his power. Only when this rival lifts his head in the ultimate gesture of submission does DC ease off. A clear pecking order is important when the good times don't last long. It's impossible to predict a precise arrival date. The migration changes dramatically from year to year. Only the motivation to keep moving remains the same. Grass. And the herds need a lot of it. Altogether, wildebeest eat around 7,000 tons of grass a day. They prefer short grass, prevalent in the south. But as this dies in the dry season, and the rains move steadily northwards, wildebeest follow the rain in pursuit of the fresh green shoots. The one basic need to eat drives the herds forward. But the other will bring them face to face with their greatest danger. A chorus of thousands punctures the silence. The wildebeest arrive at the Grumeti. They've been traveling non-stop for 10 hours. There is only one thing on their minds: water. They crave its life-giving sweetness. And yet, they hesitate. Their behavior is similar all along the Grumeti. A manic dash to the edge, and then they stop. A communal instinct warns of danger. Their ultimate aim is to cross the river and get to the rich pastures on the other side. Yet if they don't drink, they may not survive their journey ahead. A pit stop is the perfect place for an ambush. Water over 1.5 meters will easily hide the 80-centimeter high crocodile. The croc can launch right out of the water in less than half a second. But a wildebeest is fast and flexible enough to leap out of the way. The croc must stay submerged and get to within 3 centimeters of the wildebeest before he strikes. Surprise is the croc's masterstroke. The prey is no pushover. An adult wildebeest can weigh the same as a mature croc, and pointy horns and hooves are designed to do damage. Wildebeest reflexes are trigger quick, even when there's no croc in sight. The ragtag crocs study their prey. A teenage croc makes her move. But she's too eager. It takes years to perfect an ambush. Younger crocs lack experience and patience. More juvenile crocs give it a go, but they're not sneaky enough for these wildebeests. Every pit stop hunt is a disaster. The strikes are badly timed, even when prey seems to make it easy. Downriver, DC, the dominant croc, is already in place. DC works alone and won't have it any other way. The ragtags could learn from this old pro. First step, study the prey. Experience has taught him to look before he leaps. Second, submerge and wait. But the herd disperses before he can hide. He's forced to change his spot. He doesn't go far. There's a pool just to his right. And he gets an impromptu indication of its depth. A final check before he ducks under. And now the long wait. Luckily, DC can stay underwater for over an hour if he has to. The real challenge is patience. The longer he can wait, the more unguarded his prey will be. These zebras have no idea the biggest croc in the river is right under them. A perfect strike. Jaws snapped shut like a sprung trap. More powerful than a shark bite. DC drags the 300-kilogram adult with ease. But the pool's not deep enough. He can't just pull him under and drown him. The zebra can push against the bottom, which gives him critical leverage. And then he attacks DC's most vulnerable area. His eyes. The pit stop's shallow water bolsters the zebra, and DC's forced to release his grip. Even a top croc knows failure all too well. 70 kilometers away to the north, on the Mara River, a dramatically different battle begins. A deep river with steep banks changes everything. requires a leap of faith. You can't change your mind halfway. This is a plunge into the deep end. The wildebeest are completely at the mercy of this liquid element. Deep water is the ultimate kill zone for the crocodile. Above or below, he's master of this water pit. 50 meters wide and 6 meters deep. Wildebeest reflexes and speed are stymied in the water. At 10 kilometers an hour, they're like sitting ducks. The croc can swim up to 28 kilometers an hour, so he can hit any target he chooses. There's no challenge. Aim, drown, and eat. The pandemonium is a call to action for the crocodiles. A flotilla of giants responds. For the wildebeest, there's no turning back. In the deep water, they struggle to breathe. There's a real risk of drowning, and panic is contagious. When they're not fighting the water, they fight the terrain. Broken ankles and snapped necks increase the body count each season. Their only play is safety in numbers, which means someone is going to die. Croc bodies are laterally flattened, custom built to slice through the water. Their tails are pure muscle mass to provide thrust. And topping off the design is a crushing jaw with the strongest bite force in the animal kingdom. This is no mere meal. It's a banquet. Exposed in the middle of the river, life is a deadly lottery. When your number is up, there is no defense. The Mara crocodiles have a massive weight advantage. Once they hold their head underwater, the river does the rest. The crocs have hit the jackpot with this location. Killing here is easy. Herd members can't stop to help the victims. The survivors head for the safety of the opposite bank. But even here, they aren't safe. Crocs wait to ambush any stragglers exhausted from the epic swim. Once prey is drowned, feeding is a team effort. It's the only way to control a carcass in deep water. While certain crocs clamp onto the zebra to hold it steady, others perform the infamous death roll, spinning on the spot to tear the carcass apart. Cooperating ensures that everyone gets a bite. It's also easier to battle the strong current as a group. There are more jaws to stop the carcass from being swept away. A meal doesn't last long. The adult zebra is obliterated in less than 40 minutes. No one goes hungry here, because there's always more where that came from. Crocodiles that are full to bursting harness the sun's heat to speed up their digestion. In fact, there's so much food in the Mara, most crocs stuff themselves to capacity till they're forced to blob out on the beach and digest. They have to wait for food to be absorbed or pass through them before they can go back for seconds. Back on the Grumeti, DC isn't that lucky. He knows the wildebeest will soon move forward. It's much easier for the herds to navigate the Grumeti. Shallow water and narrow channels swing the advantage to the prey. After his recent failure, DC is ready and waiting. It takes only one brave soul to commit, and multitudes follow. 1,000 energies aligned to a single purpose: cross the river. Herd mentality requires equal doses of courage and craziness. This single-mindedness is hardwired into the wildebeest's DNA, an evolutionary survival trait. Individuals are swept up in the momentum of the crossing, with no time to think about the danger. And tightly packed together, they form a single giant organism which offers protection from attack. This is where DC is headed. If he wants to eat, he has to figure out a way to breach this moving train. The shallows is a difficult and dangerous place to hunt, even for an experienced croc. The crossing is narrow at 9 meters wide, so he won't have a lot of time. The water is only 80 centimeters deep, so DC can't submerge comfortably. Wildebeest run across at 50 kilometers an hour in a tight group, so isolating a single target is impossible. His plan: swim directly into the middle of the herd and grab one. The wildebeest dash across to limit the time they're exposed. If DC gets too close, they'll land on top of him. It's a big herd, thousands of meals on the hoof. DC is determined to get at least one. He tries to read the situation, but it's too choppy for him to see anything. And when he lifts his head further above the wave action, he gives himself away. The wildebeest steer clear. It's no better underwater. A calf should be easy to catch. But DC's blind in the murk. The opportunity's lost. When the herd closes ranks, he's in real danger. He's got thick armor, but a stampede could knock him out. His attempt is half-hearted. They ride roughshod over him. It's way too dangerous. Back to square one. Watch and wait. It's time to use his greatest asset, his brain, and find a solution. His direct attacks at right angles to the traffic flow don't work. The momentum of the herd is too powerful, and there's no sign of it slowing down soon. His plan: if you can't beat him, join him. DC decides to move in sync with the herd. If he matches their pace, he's better placed for an attack. Despite the danger, DC holds tight. He's waited a year for this meal. Like all the crocs, he'll try to hunt and eat while the herds cross his territory. Gorge while the glut lasts. Despite the cries for help, the herd remains focused. One life is sacrificed for the success of the group. On the Grumeti, crossings are quick. Hesitate, and you lose. Without warning, it's over. DC responded just in time. He's got his meal. Now he has to keep it. Good news travels fast in the trenches. The ragtags also haven't had a decent meal yet. Blood in the water attracts them like moths to a flame. Everyone wants in on the action. The meat makes a pleasant change to fish. DC has no intention to share. A croc his size needs 10 calves to fill his belly. But eating alone is difficult for crocodiles. They have to swallow their meals whole. Their jaws don't move from side to side, so they can't chew food into smaller pieces. DC's in a quandary. He can't fight off the ragtags with his mouth full, and the awkward hunk of meat just won't slip down his throat. If he wants to eat, he'll have to share. Jaws lock on to grip and twist like pairs of pliers. Spinning around a fixed axis is an efficient way to divide the spoils. DC hangs on to as much as he can, while his massive bulk provides a solid weight to pull against. By cooperating, DC finally gets a bite. But so do the others. And that's just not right. All his hard work for one measly mouthful. There's a price to pay for stealing. He wants them gone. As usual, The wildebeest set things in motion. The next big herd arrives to drink. It's a pit stop hunt. DC's up. He must approach without being detected. But this time, he's got a new game plan. He'll submerge in advance of his strike. Crocodiles don't see very well underwater, so DC will navigate using sound and touch. So far, his sneaky technique works. These wildebeests are far less skittish than the earlier group. His strike comes out of nowhere. A perfect ambush. The ragtags react immediately. Those splashes are as clear as a dinner bell. This water is deep enough to drown the adult cow. DC picked a good spot. In less than 2 minutes, it's all over. The ragtags move in. DC tries to drag his carcass upstream, but the ragtags have him surrounded. DC is out for blood. As the dominant croc, he's not about to give up his prize without a fight. The rival male will be taught a lesson. It's a show of dominance. But DC underestimates the ragtags. The big croc is only a decoy. But DC has no time to brood. His snout swiftly registers a new opportunity. Specialized pits on his nose pick up minute pressure changes. Percussive hoofbeats vibrate through the water. A rock crossing. The rocks is the most challenging crossing for the crocodile. DC is totally exposed in 30 centimeters of water. But wildebeest walk carefully over the rocks, and that's his opportunity. His MO, creep closer in full view to cause panic and take advantage of any wildebeest that falls. He'll use the hazardous zone itself against his prey. But first he's got to get there, which means he also has to clamber over sharp, protruding rocks. Wildebeest crossing waves, and this latest group won't last forever. If he can get right up to the herd and cause panic, he's got a chance. But the herd detects him. They reroute downstream. It's a bad decision. Now they're trapped, cornered against a wall of rock and driftwood. Nowhere to go but into each other. Exactly where DC wants them. To watch and wait. attack is not about catching, it's about chaos. 500 kilograms of solid crocodile smacks into the herd. The wildebeest fly over the rocks, unconcerned about their landing. This is the panic he was after. Wildebeest make foolish mistakes when they're scared. Chaos makes their kill easy. The calves run right into DC's jaws. He clamps onto the snout, so it will be easy to drown in shallow water. This is a meal he can manage alone. Or so he hopes. Unlike mammals, reptiles are not designed for endurance. Even short bursts of activity build up dangerous levels of lactic acid that have to be expelled from their systems. DC's attack and dismemberment saps all his energy. It's going to take at least 2 hours to rid his body of the toxins and rebound. DC might be the alpha croc, but right now he's as vulnerable as a hatchling. He literally can't move. The good news is few animals threaten him. The bad news is one of them is here. Hippos also live in these trenches, and they're fiercely territorial. A provoked hippo can easily kill a crocodile. DC still can't move. Luckily, this pool owner seems comfortable to share. Good news for DC. When the river dries up, he's going to need a place with permanent water. They may not become fast friends, but mutual indifference is good enough. The season moves on, and the Grumeti River all but disappears. A few stagnant lakes and pools are all that remain of the once vibrant watercourse. Most are too shallow for crocodiles, so now the wildebeest drink at their leisure. Soon the water level and quality will deteriorate further, and the last of the herds will move on. These are the tail-enders, the final legions to visit this trench. It's much safer to cross the Grumeti now, when broad stretches of dry riverbed lie exposed. Crocodiles compete for dwindling deep water. They have to submerge periodically to prevent overheating. A full day in the sun would mean death by sunstroke. By comparison, DC's got it good. He's moved in with the hippo, and they take turns bathing. He'd like to get one more wildebeest before the fallow season. But with water so scarce, he can't risk traveling to the different hunting zones. The only option is to wait and hope that the wildebeest choose to drink at this pool before the door of opportunity closes for another year. But there's nothing he can do about the ebb and flow of the season. Change is the only constant in this trench. On the Mara, it's a complete contrast. This river flows permanently and fast. Here, wildebeest are dying by the thousands. The Mara River's sheer cliffs and fast currents are even more hazardous than the crocodiles. Up to 10,000 carcasses can litter the banks. Birds aren't the only scavengers to benefit. Crocodiles can also stomach rotten meat. Crocodiles can last a year between meals. But that kind of restraint is unnecessary in this neighborhood. The river provides a windfall. There's no free lunch on the Grumeti River. If DC wants to hoard food, he'll have to do it the hard way. And there's only a slim possibility the wildebeest will even visit the hippo pool. He's stuck on an island of vanishing water, waiting until the sound of hope. He may get a final chance to eat. As the wildebeest gather to drink, DC prepares for a classic pit stop hunt. This is exactly where he snatched the calf. It's not only a few stragglers, the entire herd follows the leaders across. It's an opportunity to go big and catch one outright. And not a calf. He's after a mature male wildebeest. He doesn't think about the risk, just the reward. Wildebeest trample everything in their path, but DC holds firm. His grip cripples the wildebeest and makes him easy to manipulate. The dry season has had an impact. The pool's no longer deep enough for a quick death. But DC's got a bigger problem. 1.5 tons of pool mate who's cranky about the commotion. Every additional twist and turn draws on DC's vital energy reserves, already strained when he's underwater with no air. DC's got to drown the wildebeest quickly to stop the struggling and placate his poolmate. He may be vegetarian, but an angry hippo can bite a croc in two. Luckily for DC, he takes his frustration out on the wildebeest. Peace is restored to his paw, and DC has provisions for the lean season thanks to an unlikely assist. When moisture is completely sucked from soil and the sun bleaches the grass yellow, the last of the wildebeest disappear from the horizon. Silence returns to the rivers. On the Mara, the crocodiles have a stockpile against the lean times. On the Grumeti, the ragtags, satisfied with the food they stole and shared, settle down for the long wait. This year, DC has his own carcass in storage, and a super-sized ally to help him guard it. In these great rivers, the predators responded to the nuances of the landscape and triumphed. The Mara crossings gave the crocodiles there an easy ride, while the complex crossings in the Grumeti forced ingenious solutions from DC and the ragtags. And next year, when the herds return, these quiet waters will once again transform into dynamic battlegrounds.